because they live in Wahoo side, and I live at a beach. So if something jumps off, I gotta drop whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I gotta take off from work, because I work evenings, I have various shifts. So sometimes I gotta run back home to my mother's house to help my sisters deal with my brother. And it just creates all kinds of etiquette in the family. So I want help with trying to not have so much scheduling run around my brother's outbursts, and also making sure that my mom is okay because she's getting older, and I just see this down the road. The next 5 years is going to be really hard if it's like this. And I want to try and get some help for my family now so we can deal with this in a way where I don't always feel like I'm being a cop, because I feel like I cannot be his brother sometimes. I feel like I'm his father. I get kids in my own forays. And I've kind of been doing this trip with my brother for a really long time. And I love my brother, but I don't love the situation, you know what I mean? Right. And it just leaves me really, really frustrated. I know my sister now, I have, I can't go on dates if he shows up. And just have a social life. Right. I'm taking care of mom part-time, and then when he shows up, 2-3 times a month, it's always drama. Mm-hmm. So I just want to get some kind of help for my family to not be so out of balance behind this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
So it sounds like a lot of time on your family's behalf, including yourself, is constantly revolving around your brother's situation. And from what I'm getting, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's been occupying a lot of time. And in the long run, it's you want to find something that will help alleviate some of this stress that's been piling up, and you can see, you can foresee all that the behaviors might not change, and you want to do something to help that, to make it so that in the near future maybe things could be different instead of this repetitive process. From what it sounds like, that's been a continuum essentially. Dropping whatever you're doing for the needs of him. Is that something correct about?
Pretty much. My thing is, like, it's not just me dropping my stuff, but it's also the burden that it puts on my sisters. And my mother. But for my mom, mom is more like, he'll always be my little boy. So that's how she sees him. And that's how she treats him. It seems as the further along she gets in her life, the more she sees him as a child to be taken care of, as opposed to a man who has to function and take care of himself. Although he has an illness, I'm not downplaying that, because that's for real. You know what I mean? I feel for my brother. That's for real. But he has to, come to a point where he's independent, because my concern is also for my brother is, when my mom passes on, we're all going to pass on, you know what I mean? He won't have that resource. And then he will lay that trick on my sisters. He won't lay that trick on me because I'm the discipline. You know what I mean? But it's almost like one cycle going in and another one just going run. Right. So my thing is, how can we get some help to, redirect the situation in a way? Like, and I don't want to talk about it like he's my kid, you know what I mean? But really, like trying to figure out a way to, make it work better, right? Because it's messy.
Okay. So So does he live with your mom?
No, that's the thing. He's in a group home in White Pine. Okay, so he has a caregiver in a group home, and there's like maybe 5 other residents with him. There's like 6 of them total. Okay. And his benefits from the state go to pay for his room and board there, and they also feed him there, and he get bus pass, and he can, all when you like. Okay. But the problem is, sometimes he'll buy like choke cigarettes because he like smoke choke cigarettes, or he like trade it for stuff you get in the house, candy, whatever, snacks. And when he blows all of that, he hops on a bus and boom, he winds up while he was outside my mom's house with my sisters going, "Oh, where's mom?" And they're trying to tell her, she needs her rest, you're stressing her out, and he just acts out. We push over her potted plants, it kind of bullied him a little bit, and then I get a phone call. It's like, "Chris, you gotta come now. You gotta come now. Ty is out of control. You gotta come now." Okay. And I just, I kind of don't know what else to do. Okay. You know what I mean? They'll just show up. Right. And then go through my trip, and then you need to lay off. Sometimes I might give him a little money. Just to tie him over, and I know it's not a good thing, but I just want the problem to be settled as quickly as possible. But I don't want to back on. I know it's going to happen again. But getting him in a position where he can manage that behavior.
Okay. So what it sounds like is, so he has his resources, and when he completes his resource, then he comes back to family as Plan B. So maybe what it sounds like is maybe if there would be any type of financial management classes, would you think he'd be willing to attend those? Something to help him become more educated or more aware of his financial spendings in appropriate ways or wise ways.
Yeah, I think it would have to be something that would kind of be at a level where he could, because like budgeting for him is kind of like a complicated kind of deal. Right. You know what I mean? I think it'd be better if, the thing is, I don't want to manage his money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think it would be better if there was some kind of way where he gets money doled out instead of him. What I'm seeing is he gets all of his money at one point, or at a couple of points in a month, and then boom, you're on hard, and then it's like, it'd be better if maybe part of that money could go to paying his room and board, and then maybe you have more like an allowance.
Right.
Like that kind of setup, and maybe have someone who's not me or my sisters and my mom forget it. She's not even going to do it. She won't even think about it. She just, in my purse. So maybe somebody who's not me and not my sisters can sit with him and be like, "Look, Ty, you gotta, we're gonna dole out your money this way. You can't have it all up front, because what happens is, we get problems." Right. I don't even know if he's aware of, because it's a different kind of stress. Right. So.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds, in terms of having some type of financial management, I think we both are on the same page, agreeing that he could really benefit from having someone both help him become more aware on how to, I guess, spread his money out throughout a month, or for the periodic times that he receives his funds. That definitely sounds like something that he could benefit from. So I guess the next question would be, would you want it to be a relative, a non-immediate family member, or, because I know another issue or another possible issue would be, who are we going to trust? And I mean, does any of his roommates have the same problem? How questions that I would have or that would concern me are be like, what's his roommate spending habits? Or if the state pays for his room and board.
Yeah. Because the schizophrenia is a disability.
Right. Okay. So like the person in charge of the household, or maybe if there's a building manager, would that be a potential resource that we could tap into?
Yeah, I think because he has a case manager that he meets with, but he's not consistent about meeting with the case manager. Sometimes to kind of bag out, but just enough where he gets his way, but not enough where we'll boot him out of the house. That's the thing. He's not so out of it that he can't work it.
Right.
Which is why, I expect him to go, okay, if you can work us, then you gotta work this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So that, but when I tell him that, he just gets sad, he gets pouty, and I get tired after the first hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm ready to go home, see my family, you know what I mean, deal with my own trip. So my thing is, I think it's a good, what you're saying makes sense. Maybe I'm concerned about the family issue because to him, in his mind, we care give. That's what the family's supposed to be doing.
Right.
And since he got sick when he was in his early 20s, when he got sick, it's just kind of been that way. Like he used to stay at my parents' place before my father passed away. And my father passed away when he was like 30, maybe 10 years after he got sick. But up until that point, he had benefits coming in, but they could always be supplemented because dad then would take care of him. But then it got to the point where, as my dad passed and my mom's got older, it's harder for that situation to be that my mom can't do the same thing she could do at that stage when my dad was alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that dynamic is what he expects.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So my thing with the family member is maybe having somebody who has some authority, like maybe it's bringing in his case manager, maybe saying can we involve his case manager somehow to say, hey, how can we? Because he does well in the sense of I don't want to present my brother like he's a menace. You know what I mean? He does well in the sense of where he does enough to stay in that house. Like this part, he get cable,
right.
he get his own bed. You know what I mean? Stuff that he can't have as readily at my mom's house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's already occupied and they're caring for mom. That's really why they're staying there. They don't have to live there. But they're caring for mom and doing me a favor.
Right.
He's working it. So maybe somebody with some kind of authority, because somebody maybe connected to the money he gets from the state. To say, hey, look, you gotta manage this. You cannot just blow it and then, what happens if we weren't here? My concern would be like, what would he do next? Would he, maybe he'd be that guy in front of Foodland, well, you know what I mean? We don't want that for him, right? You know what I mean? That's not the life we ever wanted for him, but right now it's not working.
Okay, so what we can do is I can go ahead and contact his case manager. I can make some calls, and also try and contact the building manager as well. And I'll try and set up a MDT, a multidisciplinary team. So basically, or a multidisciplinary team would be also known as maybe like a conference or something like that. Somewhere, a meeting essentially where all these different caregivers or resource providers will come together and figure out the best next step, what we all can do together to help your brother. So maybe addressing financial management, maybe educating him on budgeting and being, or maybe even bringing heightening awareness to that subject. So starting with the baby steps, but I can make some calls, gather everyone together, and we'll set up. I'll be a meeting for next week, Friday, and I'll email you, or I can give you a call, and I'll let you know when exactly the meeting will be, so you can attend as well, and any other family members, your mom, and your sisters, if they wish to, so they can hear and they can share, common concerns, or if you agree or disagree with the approach that where the situation is heading in terms of what's the next step that we can do, what's the next immediate step that we can do to intervene or to implement in order to address, the burdening or, the continuum that's been happening for you and your family.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good because right now we're just in this merry-go-round with this situation, and it's not good. So I'd appreciate the help.